Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I have a few gameplays for you. Let me drop OBS down. I've taken the hotkeys off of OBS just so I don't click them intermittently as I go. So let's take a look at some stuff. I've played 2 leagues since my live stream now. So I've played 3 total. I got a nasty bug in the second league. I was playing... I'll show you the decks, but I was playing a new combination of partner commanders, actually. I've been shelling away a little bit of money that I wanted to put towards MTGO, and I decided to wait until after the update and the list has changed. So let's take a look at my collection now. So I have this set to the last 7 days. Let's jump over to the collection. Azami, Breya, Crown Vial Smasher, Maren, and then my regular decks that I've played in the past. So my additions to the collection have been the cards necessary to expand into Grixis and 3-color and 4-color commander. And this Breya list is very much inspired by Nate Prodzik's and Brian Weissman's. I wanted to give it a shot, so the best way to really learn a deck is by playing the deck itself instead of playing against it and knowing how it operates. I'm still trying to tweak Maren. I think she is going to be good once the metagame settles. Baral's very strong right now, and Maren doesn't really have early answers for Baral. A lot of the answers involve 3 or 4 mana, and that is a difficult point for Maren to be able to play. I think Prowling Serpaperd might be the correct point for Maren, but until we reach that, I don't think that Maren is as viable as I was hoping for 1v1 leagues, due to the fact that the mono green decks that are relatively immune to hand disruption, they can just top deck big fatties, and that you can't beat some of them. Furthermore, the Baral decks operate on an axis that's very interesting. They put their commander down early and then do nothing until they're about to win. And you would think that Maren's disruption package is pretty good, and let me show you where Maren's sitting right now. I don't think I've edited the tapped out lists in a while, but of course we get this lovely Moto thing. Alright, so Maren still plays. I'm still playing the Winter Orb because I need to attack the mana base. I don't know if this is where I need to be for the deck. I'm playing Thoughtseize, Duress. I might want to increase my discard count and go more black heavy. We'll have to see. I need a lot more testing against Baral with this deck in particular. I also have built a combo variant of it for leagues as well, with Walking Ballista in place of Triskelion, because you can play this for 2, and at least then it's a 1/1. Or furthermore, you can play it for 0 mana, immediately get a Maren trigger, then during your end step, if you have nothing else, bring it back because its CMC is 0, and then it will immediately die, so you can use Maren's end step to immediately get another free experience counter. So I thought that was a cute interaction that might be worth playing. It's definitely better than Triskelion because it hurts for 0 when you flip it to Dark Confidant rather than doming yourself for 6. So I've built the combo version as well, and this has naturally gone up on the reanimation packages. I think I added Imperial Seal back into this list, but there were very few changes. I cut Winter Orb from this list specifically because it's so mana greedy. Without the Gaia's Cradle in the format, you just want all of your mana as much as possible. I've added Wall of Roots. I think I cut Priest of Titania for that because it blocks a little bit better, and it's becoming increasingly relevant. But the decks of choice right now are, if you're a fan of me, you're most likely a fan of Brian Weissman and Nate Prodzik. So I'll get to the Breya list in a moment, which you may have seen on their channels. I've made a few creative differences on it. This is currently my Crown Vial Smasher build. It is Grixis control, as straightforward as it can be. Early disruption. I liked Nate's talk about the Trick Bind and Stifle for fetch lands. There's so many DB effects. I think that they are very well positioned. And the disallow at 3, so it's 1, 2, 3. Pyro Red Blast because Baral is so prevalent. Sabo's Web, pretty good against Gitrog Monster and some of the other green X decks, potentially. So it's sort of this Grixis deck that I used, and then I've tweaked it some, and I was inspired off of Nate's video, and I saw Sabo's Web as a very cool piece of tech. For those of you who don't know what it does, ETB draw, so it cycles itself, and lands with activated abilities. That means cycling. Don't untap if they don't have if it's an activated ability that is not a mana ability. So it's pretty good. I think I need to try to cut Coalition Relic would be the next cut here, and I'm hoping that I can find a way to cut Flame Tenkavu and move the removal down a little to 3. Murderous Cut seems greedy in this deck as well, so we'll have to see. This should probably be Dismember. I can make that cut right now. DIS. I have a Dismember, I believe. There it is. So that's probably a better cut, because that can be played for 1 mana, so that's effectively there. So this is a deck that's quite a lot of fun to play, and I've included Flash of Insight in this because a long time ago I was playing Dual Commander, and I say a long time ago, when the Partners came out, right before Vial Smasher was banned for that, and I was just annihilated by a Vial Smasher deck. Maybe it was on Moto, maybe it wasn't Dual Commander, it was 1v1, and he used Self-Mill to mill his entire library, and then flashbacked Flash of Insight for 2 mana with exiling all of the blue cards, which was like Dome, target single opponent for 30 or something. It was a very cool combo because this can be a massive X spell that doesn't cost a massive amount of mana with Vial Smasher. So I wanted to test it out a little bit, and so far it's been pretty good for me. If I look at it as Think Twice, it's just a reverse cost to Think Twice. I pay 3 the first time and then 2 the second time. By exiling a single card, I can get behind it. All right, so that's Vial Smasher / Crown. And the Breya list, I added the Abyss, and then I saw Nate had it in his list as well after the second video from the Parallax Tide, because I remember this back from his old Oloro days and Control Breya days of being able to use her because Abyss can't eat artifact creatures, so she and her Thopters survive for the longest amount of time. I've also added, where is it, Inventor's Fair, and Videlkin Shackles, because I feel Shackles is very well positioned if you steal Baral in response to Polymorph. I believe you lose the Baral, but then you flip for a creature. Sure, I don't have that many creatures, but at least they're not flipping to an Emrakul, is my thought process. The Abyss is very well positioned against Emrakul, either Promised End or Aeon's Torn. Either way, you're in a fantastic position. I like Umoze with Jite in this deck a lot. That was Nate's post in his video, and I'm still not sure about Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time. I really don't like both of them in the deck. It's so greedy to be able to play them, but I guess the upside is so high that it's maybe worth playing. I might wanted to move one of these down to like a Force Spike to be able to interact if my opponent has turn 1 Baral, which the deck tends to do every maybe 6 or 7 games, I guess. On average, it can get a turn 1 Baral because of the existence of Chrome Mox and Mox Diamond in the format. So being able to interact with potential turn 1 Baral might be worth including, other than Swords to Plowshares, naturally. But instead of something like Dig Through Time or Treasure Cruise. I think War of Invention, I haven't actually gotten to cast it yet, but the loss of Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, and not playing Pithing Needle in here seems interesting. I don't know if it's good enough to be able to run as the big X spell for the deck. That said, there's the cool things of being able to tap stuff like Crucible or Sword of Feast and Famine, Winter Orb. Dream Situation is tap Winter Orb during your opponent's end step to be able to whir, even if you whir for like 2 and you get a Signet, at least your Winter Orb, or the Jite, at least Winter Orb is tapped, and then it untaps on your turn with all of your lands, and your opponent stays trapped underneath it but you get a full untap. I can see Sabo's Web being one of the ideal targets as well. I think still getting a like a talisman. I don't own a Grim Monolith on Moto, so I put in Indulgence, the red-black talisman instead. It's been pretty good for me, and other than that, I think that I'm playing a very similar set. Like I said, I really want to try to shave one of these cards, maybe two, if War of Invention might be one of them. We'll have to see. So I'm going to jump through some games with this before I drone on anymore. So this was my last league that I played, so this is my games over the last 7 days. I have about a, I think 60 to 70% win rate right with the deck right now. I'm definitely still learning it, and it's really a lot of fun to play. You just feel in such a commanding position most of the games. So, was it Dogger? I think it was Dogger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So JHK, we're starting with you. Jump through the league games. Alright. I'm going to pop out the command zones and just go through these real quick. So my opponent plays Tassiger. I see an iffy opening hand. It's really dependent on Wayfarer sticking around, but the fact that I can't play it turn 1 makes me want to ship that one away as well. And then I see a very decent opening hand, but I have City of Brass, and so I have all of my colors, and Island. Remand can cycle. Red Bless can at least stop early aggression. Get another land on top. Unfortunately, it's a basic, but I'll take it because this Fact or Fiction should it'll draw me into the game. So I'm going to lead City Brass. It's possible that I should have led Island, but this lets me play different spells on or represent different spells, like Path to Exile or Vampiric Tutor. It lets me represent a lot by playing City of Brass. Now I'm going to go Island. This might tell my opponent that I don't have other non-basic lands. My opponent just passes after playing Deathway Shaman on 1. I pick a Parallax Tide. What a combo. Red Blast Tide. If you haven't watched Nade's video, he talks about it at length, and you get to see it in full effect in this game. That's why I really enjoyed this league. Alright. Death right in. Pick up Dak Faden. Nah, nothing special yet. I'm just going to sit, try to cycle this Remand whenever I have a chance. My opponent's going to cycle their Baron Moore and play an Opulent Palace. And they're quickly, because the Tasker didn't have the Mill Myself 2 spells, Mental Note or Thought Scour, they didn't have an insanely broken start, thankfully. I get a Signet here, and I'm going to land the Signet. I temporarily take myself off Remand if they want to interact with the Signet, but I keep Red Blessed up, and despite this combo here, I would probably have to Red Bless to try to make sure this Signet resolves, because I don't think I can get into this game without it. Evolving Wilds, and they just pass. I'm surprised that they're not playing Tasker here. They gotta assume I have counter magic. I get Marsh Flash, thankfully. And now I'm trying to bait them to do something on their turn. If I can Remand a spell that they push on end step, and they push it again. Alright, there goes the Thought Scour, milling manually Polluted Delta. Drain me for 2. And my plan here is if I can get them to play a spell that really taps them low, I'll be able to Parallax Tide and Red Blast them on my turn. Doesn't matter what they have in play, because I'll be able to recover the board state much faster than I can the mana base. Nothing. So I gotta decide, do I go for it here? It's a real iffy question. I think I'm gonna try to bait with Fact or Fiction, because and if they cast a spell, I would probably play Fact or Fiction in response. They might counter Fact or Fiction thinking I'm looking for a counter, or it'll cause them to give me a bad split. Also, if I pick up Forcible here, I can play Parallax Tide with Red Blast for the combo, and Forcible backup pitching probably the Remand over the Dak Faden. It depends on the situation, but Dak might be worth more. My opponent is going to hard cast Force of Will. Man, I'm glad to get that out of their hand. Alright, so that must have been their only blue card, or just their only counter. So they'd rather just cast it than do nothing. So I'm going to float some mana. I'm going to play the Parallax Tide. I'm going to eat some lands. And you see, so I'm holding control here. And the things that I target, blue, blue, black, black, black. And I'm targeting those specifically because those are the ones that are needed to cast Tassiger. I'm letting them have blue mana here. It's plausible that I should have exiled the Botanical Sanctum rather than the islands. Probably would have been correct, and let them have a single island. But I think Botanical Sanctum's probably their worst land if I can remove it. So it's probably a misplay, to be truth be told, because it produces green. And now I'm going to hold priority, take my damage off City of Brass, like a champ, and Red Blast Parallax Tide. My opponent, I think for a sec, do they got a counter? No? Alright, what are you doing? Eat my Factor Fiction. Oh, never have been so glad to have Deathrite Shaman activated against me. Alright, Parallax Tide eats their mana. I get to play a bounce land, pick up one of the islands. And they have Flutter Strand. Alright, so they are by no means out of this race, but at least I'm in a commanding mana position now, which is really where you need to be against Tasker. Let's jump, Dig Through Time, main phase. I can agree with that, because if they had done that on my turn, I would have absolutely remanded their Dig Through Time, which just feels fantastic. So I'm going to play the island back out. I realize I shouldn't have done that immediately after playing it, because I might have wanted to play Dak and loot it away. So I decided to go with the Breya instead. And yeah, I decided to let them have Deathrite Shaman for the time being, because my Thopters are too important. Now that they're not going to do anything, I'm going to eat Deathrite on their turn, try to make them spend mana if they're going to do something. Nothing. Alright, let me pop Graveyards, because I'm tired of this jumping back and forth. And they're going to Fatal Push me. So I get to play Dak, and I'm going to loot, pitch away Island Disenchant, because Disenchant's not going to be good this game, I feel. Play Irrigated Farmland, and I'm going to sit on this Remand, because I really don't want Tasker to come down off of some interesting series of events. Jace the Mind Sculptor. That is a fantastic remand target. I pick up Thoughtseize. Take away that Jace, please. So I'm going to loot. So I'm going to pitch Sabo's Web, because it would make my farmland stay tapped, and Steam Fence, because I'd rather play the bounce land. It's worth more mana in the long run, because this effectively draws me a card. Take a look at their hand, and I decide I'm going to take away Victim of Night instead. So they got Jace, Loam, and I take away Victim of Night because it's their only removal spell, and I can slam Breya this turn. And then I almost forget to play Dimir Aqueduct, and I pick up an island that I can loot away next turn with Dak Faden if I so choose. So because I removed their one thing, if they play Jace and -1 bounce Breya, I kill Jace with Thopters, replay Breya for 4 mana. So here comes Tasker, fine by me. They're not going to be happy to see what I got. So I pitch away the island because I got Verdant Catacombs. Preordained, see Enlightened Tutor, I'll take that. Play Sword, equip Sword, crash in, and I don't know why I didn't attack with Thopters. I think I was forgetting them. I was too focused on getting excited about getting the Breya hit. Float mana response, do nothing with the mana, and they discarded Damnation. Jeez. Very interesting decision. Come on, don't bug out on me. No. Alright. There we go. Alright. Oh, they're Treasure Cruise. Okay. So they Thoughtseize, I Enlighten Tutor in response. I reveal the Abyss, because it is the one thing Tasker doesn't like. They cannot afford to feed it. Oh, that's why I kept Thopters back. Because if they could remove one Thopter that I know about with Jace, they could bounce the one Thopter and then tack Dak down. By keeping 2, there's no way they can hit Dak Fade in this turn. That's why I was keeping them. Then I'm going to, now that I've marked 1 damage, I'm going to sacrifice my Signet and the other Thopter to -4 the Tasker. I don't think my opponent saw that one coming. Even though I have the Abyss coming, getting Tasker off the board is pretty sweet. Now I can slam the Abyss. I think I loot with Dak Fade in here just to get him up on counters. Crash in. Yep, and I lose Stoneforge Mystic, which would have been nice to draw. Get the Jitte going, but I'm fine. Painful Truths, X3. Alright, Temple of Deceit, Scribe. So I pick up Duretti, Ingenious Iconoclast. So I'm going to slam him, take him up, and keep hitting my opponent with Breya. 18 damage. 1 more Breya hit, game's over. My opponent goes with Jace, tries to bounce Breya. Fine by me. Alright. I'm going to loot again. Find Bob. Put Breya down. You got a counter. Cryptic, fine by me. Put Bob down, equip Bob, tell them they have to answer Bob. And because Sword gives pro black, the Abyss cannot target it, notably. Bounce that, fine by me. Alright, so I'm eating through Jace's uses right here. So I get Yawgmoth's Will, Stoic Rebuttal, Crucible of Words this turn. So I'm going to pitch the Bob, because now that I have Yawg-Will plus counter backup, I'm just planning to do that. So I'm going to Yawg-Will. My opponent's going to Factor Fiction. I'm going to Stoic Rebuttal the Factor Fiction. They're going to Dispel that, let the Factor Fiction resolve. I give them a 4-1 split here because I feel that they want this counterspell more than anything else. They decide they don't and let me have a Yawgmoth's Will. Watch this resolve. Alright, so ton of mana. I think for a sec I can play a land from the grave, I remember, so I'm going to lead with Thoughtseize. They're going to destroy my sword. Alright, that's fine. I'm going to eat their Toxic Deluge out of their hand. They're at 4 life. They weren't going to do much with it anyway. Red Blast Jace. Replay Plateau. Play Stoneforge. Get Jitte. And play Enlightened Tutor for Vidalcan Shackles as the extra insurance policy. I know my island count is low with just 2 right here because I've been bouncing the basics off these bounce lands, but it's better than nothing, and it's also a very useful way to threaten. I will use the Stoneforge Mystic on my upkeep. Creeping Tar Pit comes in. Alright, so I'm on 1 island off being able to take Creeping Tar Pit with Shackles. Alright, Tassiger down. Fine by me. I lose Stoneforge Mystic. I'm going to use it in response. Play the Shackles. Then I'm going to kill Tasker. The Abyss has killed no creatures for me this game. It's only killed Stoneforge Mystic, but I feel confident that it has kept my opponent from wanting to play Tassiger into the board. And sometimes that perceived value is hard to measure. Alright, opponent, Creeping Tar Pit, attacks one of my Planeswalkers, takes Dak down instead of Jaretti. Ponder, find Night's Whisper. I think I play Breya here. Yep, tap all the way down to 1 mana, put Breya into play, but that gives me 2 Breya and 2 Thopters. Dak, I'm going to use that to clear the other 2 cards from Ponder. Sultai Charm kills Breya, fine by me. Impulse, okay. Thopter, kill Jaretti, fine. I'm going to get my 3rd island, and now attack with a Thopter, get some Jitte counters. My opponent, Night's Whisper, find Force, Psych, Jace. I'm going to keep Force Jace, because I'd rather have Jace if I don't need to play Force of Will. I can also hardcast Force of Will. I'm going to use Shackles, though, and take Creeping Tar Pit, and choose not to untap. I get to keep Creeping Tar Pit on my side of the board. I'm going to cruise first, and I'm just making sure that I'm really as set up as I can to keep this alive. And pump. They dismember. I hardcast Force. They cycle Street Wraith down to 1. I should have attacked with the 2nd Thopter. I knew about the Street Wraith, but down. Alright. Let's jump turns. There we go. Alright. Into the next game. That was JHK. I'm going to try to go quickly from here. That was just a really cool game. And a long control match. Alright, my opponent's playing Ravos Timna. I'm immediately not afraid of this. See Weathered Wayfarer on top, I keep that. I fetch out a Tundra, play Weathered Wayfarer. They force them to have to use Disfigure. Fine by me. I'll get a Signet down. My opponent goes with Timna. And Timna gets a lot of damage this game, surprisingly. So I pick up that. I don't have block yet, so I need to play the Dimir Aqueduct as soon as possible. Just pick up the basic, might as well. Collective Brutality, make me discard. Fine by me. Or discard an instant or sorcery. I discard, or they look at and they choose Muddle the Mixture. Most likely because that can muddle into Demonic Tutor, and they know that. Alright, so I'm going to deploy Breya here. Or, no, I realize that I can't deploy Breya and use Thoughtseize in the same turn, because my red is locked on one of the blacks as well. So I see this hand, and I decide that the biggest threat here to start with is Gideon Ally of Zendikar. Because if they get land, it's just going to be an immense amount of pressure making 2/2s every turn. So I take him away. Timna keeps getting mana. There goes the land. They're going to wasteland my Dimir Aqueduct. Hurts, guys. That really hurts. Defense grid down. Alright, let's put a Winter Orb into play. Slow down this game some. Turn on your Temple right off the top. Clear that. Get Videlkin Shackles right on cue. Shackles take Tymna. Pass turn underneath Winter Orb. They get a command tower, and they don't play Damnation, interestingly. So I decide that they're trying to untap one more land, top deck land, and merciless all of my artifacts away. So unfortunately this turn I have to attack with Tymna, play my Tech Edge, and Tech Edge their command tower to keep myself from getting, and I would have been, had my artifacts evicted, unfortunately. Get Yawgmoth's Will, crash in with Tymna, draw some more cards, get Azorius Chancery, get a land untapped, pick up Underground Sea, crashing again. My opponent conveniently missed land there. Thankfully, I get to Yawgwill, I get to Heath, get Scrubland, and Thoughtseize away the merciless eviction they've been playing towards. Alright, after that, sorry about that, they go scored this, and that's why I was avoiding playing this bounce land up to that point. Fatal Push away Tymna, fine by me. I've gotten quite enough value off of it. We are even on Tymna hits, which means we're also even on cards. However, they've been under the needle for the longest time. They had Tormod's Crypt the turn before I played Yawgmoth's Will, and they didn't play it out, and it really punished them for it. Thalia, doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to take Thalia before anything happens. And the game's over. Alright, let's do, this was Plamkin. I think this was I just get completely washed here. Yeah, so I mull my first, this was Saskia, and this, I want to show you this just because this is when they have a decent draw, this is a terrifyingly powerful aggro deck. So rough. I see Strip Mine. I just got to keep it. Hope I can get Teachings off, I think. Mom. Uncounterable Human. Honored Crop Captain. It's a 3/2 for 2 that pumps his team when he attacks. Get Stoneforge. I'm going to go get the Jitte. It's possible that I should have gotten Feast and Famine, but I don't, like floated maybe Feast and Famine would have been right. But they get Rebel Master down. And Rebel Master, they have a just absolutely perfect curve. And I need to kill Cavern to keep Saskia from coming down because I'm dead to Saskia. I have Toxic Deluge. They play Smiter. They crash in for a ton, 12 damage. And I'm on land or bust here at this point. So I get to put in Jitte. And if I don't draw land, I don't. And that's the game. So I equip Stoneforge. I don't attack because they block Give Pro White. So at least I can prevent damage. Maybe they'll forget. And I block, they Give Pro White, I get no Jitte counters, game's over. So, very quick one. And it's just rough. But Saskia decks are built to prey on control decks. So, I'm just going to chalk that up to the RNG of the rough hand and the multiple colors of colorless lands in the deck. My opponent's playing Tasker the Golden Fang again. This is a different player. I keep a very mana heavy draw, but I have a Vamp, Counterspell, Remand. I feel comfortable with it. Bloodstained Mire. They play Warrior Grave. I'm going to fetch, get an Underground Sea, and Brainstorm. Eat the Mental Misstep, thankfully. I get Ancient Tomb off the top, so definitely not going to have any mana problems this game. Find Yawgmoth's Will. My opponent does nothing, and I'm just going to be content to play this draw go game until they blink first, because I have so much mana. So I'm going to Vamp. Get Force of Will just as backup, because this lets me deploy Jace this turn with Force backup, or Remand backup. Sorry, Jace plus Remand plus Force backup, and I feel Jace the Mind Sculptor might be the thing that I need to win this game. See Mental Note, and I decide I want to put that on the bottom, because at this point they have to totally tap out to put Tasker down, and that's a great Remand. I don't want to give them the Mental Note, so I'm going to bottom that. And the reason I put Tasker up right away is to get him out of immediate range and give me 5 bounces of creatures if I so need. I don't need to draw up cards right now. They go for Maelstrom Pulse. So I'm going to attempt to Remand Maelstrom Pulse. They Spell Snare my Remand. I force the Maelstrom Pulse. And it's possible they should have just let Maelstrom Pulse be remanded. But and held on to the spell snare, because it would have at least gotten a second chance at it. That said, I would have gotten an untap and been able to just hard cast counterspell instead of having to use Force of Will. Get Sword of Feast and Famine. So I'm going to do a value Yawgmoth's Will right here. Get a land, fetch a land, vamp, use Jace, Brainstorm, and then I'm going to, I could Tech Edge here. I decided I just want to tap out for the sword. I hate Gilded Drake on top of my library, which is what I fetched for, because I have the Gilded Drake Jace combo. I trade for Tasigur, then I take Tasigur. Then I bounce my Gilded Drake. They go with Tasigur himself. I get Gilded Drake. So I'm going to hide this fact for as long as possible, because this is the turn that I can deploy Breya. They're going to Edict me in response. Very cool art on Diabolic Edict. Pretty sweet. Looks like a MTGO promo. At least I get Thopters, and those Thopters wear swords pretty well. So I'm going to Tech Edge one of their lands. I know that Tasker is in their hand at this point. Where's my commander? There we go. Alright, Underground River, Ponder. Sweet art on the Ponder. I liked mine better. But, fair is fair. Get the impulse I knew about. Equip the sword. Can I have sword hit? Nope, that looks like Abrupt Decay. Alright. I'm going to Jace again. And now I'm just sculpting my hand. I'm going to use the fetch to get rid of some cards. I'm going to muddle here for Winter Orb. Even though it taps me out underneath it as well, I have a Jace and I have 2 Thopters. And my opponent has 2 lands. 3 lands. So they are in the mana race ahead of me. Get Deathright. I'm going to take 2 damage here, go down to 5 life, and put Felwar Stone down. My god, this is a tight game, and I know about a Deathright Shaman in their hand. How crazy am I? Alright, so I get Felwar Stone. So I gotta really hope to top deck a land here. I tap bad lands, because that means any land that I get will be able to let me cast Duretti and kill Deathright Shaman. Get Flooded Strand. Sweet. So I'm going to Jace first, get an Edict off it, then I'm going to fetch. Get Volcanic Island. Get in for some combat damage, because I'm going to use Duretti right away. And I don't want to give them an opportunity to kill Duretti before I use his ability. Play Duretti. They think for a sec. They dig in response. Fine by me, it taps them out some. And now I killed Duretti. I could kill the Winter Orb. Or that, no, I used Duretti. This is a bug now. Yeah, no target chosen. Damn, this was such a good game. Alright, so I used Duretti to kill Deathright Shaman. And we played this staring game between Planeswalkers for the longest time. My opponent eventually sneaks a Jace through. Now we're playing Jace duels. They go up immediately as well, but it doesn't matter because I have Brainstorm, so whatever they put on top, I'm fine. I have 2 answers for Tasker in my hand. I used Duretti to kill the Deathright to make sure that Diabolic Edict was still an answer for Tasigur. And I eventually, I go down to 2 life. They use Nature's Claim to get rid of my Winter Orb. They get a full untap, but it's not enough. I come back, and I'm able to slam Breya for 12 mana this game, and use her to finish off my opponent, because they forget that Breya can deal lightning bolts to players' faces. They commented in chat at the very end that they misplayed so much this game, and it's possible they might have misplayed. But I was well in the driver's seat for most of it, despite my low life total and Deathright Shaman getting 1 hit on my life total when I targeted it with Duretti. Overall, I really enjoyed this game, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me jump into the next game real quick. Alright. Yep, this is the last game of the series. Alright. Let's see. That and there. There we go. So my opponent's playing Gitrog Monster, and this is not a long game. I get a very serviceable opening hand. Crucible against Gitrog seems good. I make a stupid play here, and I lose the game because of this. I fetch in response to their fetch. I'm not playing blue. Why am I playing around Stifle? I'm not. He's not a blue deck. I'm just opening myself up to Wasteland, and I'm asking to be Wastelanded right here. Like Inquisition of Kozilek. Oh, brutal. Alright, so he takes Crucible. Absolutely. Get evasive action. Wasteland. Boom. If my opponent wasn't able to Wasteland me here, this next play would not have happened. Watch this. Clear, Dark Ritual, Liliana of the Veil. Absolutely backbreaking. Turn 2 Liliana of the Veil off a Wasteland. I already know I'm not going to be able to win this game. I get IOK. I take Raven's Crime just to prevent the double discard in one turn. He also has 3 Visits Maelstrom Pulse. I know Lily's going to eat into them, though. I discard Forbid. I don't see it castable. I get to play Tech Edge. My opponent cycles. I pitch the Swords because I'm actually able to cast Evasive Action. Pick up Polluted Delta, play that. Unfortunately, Tech Edge prevents me from being able to dig for or play Breya and pressure Lily a little bit. My opponent has Lily ult available this turn, or next turn, I believe. I'm not sure. Alright, so I'm going to counter that. Yeah. So they get Lily up to 7, and I get nothing. I break off the top, float all my mana. I keep the pile with 2 colored lands. DT for Strip Mine, and I'm just thinking, like, you have a Wasteland in the graveyard, why just tutor for Crucible? Every time they tutor multiple times this game, and they just don't get Crucible Worlds. Now they have Strip Mine in the graveyard. If they get Crucible, they just win. I will scoop if they play Crucible at this point, because I can't beat it. There's no way for me to beat Crucible. I get a Signet, and I preordained that to the top of the deck, underneath the Yogg-Will, knowing that I would draw the Yogg-Will and be able to cast the Signet this turn. Get an uncastable Pyroblast is basically a dead draw. They Grim Tutor for Ancient Tomb instead of Crucible here, and I just can't fathom it. I guess it means they can keep ticking up Lily, but like, let's be honest, I lose to Crucible. Crucible Strip Mine, I can't come back from. Enlightened Tutor, alright, and then this is just them cleaning up the game. And this is the power of turn 2 Lily, guys, against a control deck. So if you're having trouble with control, add Liliana of the Veil to your deck. Take once daily. Definitely would have been a great match, I think, if my Tech Edge was a different color and I was able to play Breya into Lily 6. It sort of tempts them to cash in Lily to try to edict my board away. Would have been a very interesting game for sure. But oh well. I close out the series 3-2. Alright. That is the end of the video for now. I know it's a longer one. I hope you hit 1.5 times speed. I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video to anyone you think might enjoy my content. And let Nate know that I'm really enjoying his Breya deck. I mean, I'm sure he'll catch my video as well, but this deck's a ton of fun to play, I gotta say. And it's nice to play a true control deck in EDH every now and then. I'm trying to figure out how to beat it, but we'll get there. So lots of stuff added to the collection. I think Moran is going to be restructured a little bit, so keep tuned for that. All right, I'll see y'all in the next one.